never come back again. It's got a death curse. It's got a death curse. Drop.
Welcome in to the Death Curse Club. Grab a seat, grab a drink, and enjoy spooky year round. That's right, spooky season never ends on this show. I am your host, Zach Hilton, and along with me is my special guest of the day, because it's daytime. We got Jim.
Yeah, that's me.
That's Jim.
Yep,
Jim's on the
am.
show. How you been, Jim?
I'm good, I guess.
Okay.
We're here. We're doing stuff.
Before we get into what this episode's going to be about, which I think is a fun take, I think this is going to be a good time. You're a big fan of the spooky, you're a big fan of the horror, and just to give your general thoughts, because we've been talking about, you just watched that Substance movie.
Yeah, I did.
And I just want a general thoughts on it for our watchers / listeners.
Watched it. It's I really enjoyed it. I thought the performances were all really good, but overall, it's just one of the best looking movies of the year.
Wow, like
Visually,
you were saying like this is HD to its top quality.
Yeah.
So you would actually compare it to like visually, not special effects, but visually like a Dune type movie. Like so expensive that it looks so like Dolby. Would you go see this in Dolby?
would I go? Sure, yeah, why not?
Would
Why not?
this play in Dolby?
Yeah, it would for all kinds of reasons. But no, it's a very the whites are very it's a lot of very white rooms. No, the rooms. It's a lot of white rooms is what I mean, and they're like very crisp and it's everything. It's very bright. Where Dune isn't as bright, even though it's in the desert. With sun.
I mean, you can just hear the wetness.
Yeah. So much. There's a lot of splishing and sloshing in this movie.
Oh my God! It's just in HD, full 4K.
Yeah.
Full 4K. Yeah. That's amazing. No, I'm looking forward to it. What app can you get for free?
It's
Mubi?
MUBI.
It's Movies, Kevin Smith's Movies?
We gotta spell it because who knows how to spell these things anymore.
No one knows how to spell. I'm looking forward to it, and I think that's a good get for that channel. I can't believe just this random channel was able to get the streaming rights for this movie.
They do a lot of festival stuff, a lot of big festival, that kind of thing. The stuff that the critics love, and the Lars von Trier stuff, and the Criterion stuff.
Yeah. Did you see that Nosferatu's got good rave reviews for its first screenings?
Good. I was looking forward to it before, so.
Same. I think actually Dark Horse coming in for favorite movie of the year.
Okay.
And like I watched the first trailer, I was in. I think the second trailer for Nosferatu rocked shop. And just these early reviews, because who's the Edgars? What's the director's name? Something Edgars.
Yeah, and I should know it.
Yeah. Guy who wins horror trivia all the time.
I know, right? And I know directors.
Robert Edgars?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yep.
Nailed it. I feel with his repertoire of movies like The Beach, The Lighthouse.
Yeah.
And with this, like, he's a spooky character, and I love this. Like, it's funny. I was listening to a podcast of Mike Flanagan and Lee Winnell, and they were kind of harping on the word elevated horror.
Right.
Because they're like, what are you talking about? It's just horror.
Yeah.
And I find that funny because that's how I look at it. Horror's always had good tales to tell. Yep. It's just everybody's just remembering the Schlotsky movies. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Because there wasn't a lot of style back in the 80s. Even the ones that are classics didn't have, on average, didn't have a lot of style to them.
Right.
Didn't have a visual imprint. It was just kind of, we might have had a good story, but there wasn't anything visual, and that's where a lot of this comes from. And you weren't getting Oscar-worthy performances in a lot of those movies. No,
it's really where I've leaned heavy into. Still haven't seen it, and I plan to for December, weirdly enough, because I did see it's coming out on digital. Terrifier 3 is a Christmas movie, so I'm going to have Brooke react to it with me. We're going to watch, react, put it out there to the world. But, like, that movie has a lot of following. Like, people love it. People love the kills, which I can completely understand. But I've realized I'm also a fan of cinema.
Right.
And I feel like that's where that movie, no offense to the Terrifiers out there, but I think that's where that movie kind of lacks, or that franchise lacks, where that's what I'm looking for with something like Nosferatu. And it's kind of funny seeing these different elevated horror and stuff like that. Like, it's weird, the world we're living in. I feel blessed in the horror that we get, but it still feels weird that there's a divisiveness. Would you say?
Yeah, I think I don't even understand the Terrifier thing, and I finally did get around to watching 2 and 3, and I didn't even dislike them. I actually thought 2 was halfway decent for the most part. I don't understand the gore stuff that people hype on about, because yeah, it's gory, and yeah, the kills are over the top, but I don't think the gore is top-notch quality gore, for that matter.
Right.
It's just a lot of blood.
Would you say it's on par with like that Violent Nature? Like, you know, that one scene, like, it's no spoilers, but you know, there's that
the
death.
main kill.
Yeah.
No, I'd say it's closer to the one towards the end that went on forever and and the effects were terrible because they spent all their money on the good one.
On the good one, so wow.
And it's not even that. And again, it's not that the gore effects are bad.
Right.
They're just not. I've seen better throughout my life, but I've also seen a lot of stuff, and so I think a lot of these people that are over exaggerating of how great it is are people who just either missed the old days, so they're desperate for it, or have never watched anything like that, so they're like, oh, because nowadays everything's about the challenge, the TikTok, and they're like, oh, I can go see this movie and it's not going to bother me. Look at me.
I love that you say that, because that's immediately what I thought with, like, Wonderful went to go see it in theater. And I think, no offense to Wonderful, he's never going to watch this, so I feel I can say this. I feel like there's this, I have to be a part of a thing, i.e. when people dressed up to go see Despicable Me, i.e. the Barbenheimer effect. And this is the horror version, which was Terrifier. Could I last the 10 minutes that we were, oh, it's so gory, it's so gross, you won't last 10 minutes. And that's where the ticket sales, and the movie's made, I mean, it's close to 100 million worldwide. So I'm not really knocking it down a peg. I'll give it
franchise?
props. No, part 3. Part 3 is almost at 100 million worldwide.
Okay. No,
it's about 60 domestic.
Yeah, it is about 60.
And I think it will probably be under 100. But I think that's very impressive for this franchise that started as a DVD, straight to DVD thing, all the way to where it's gotten.
Yeah. And
but I will say,
release.
I agree with you 100% that this movie made as much as it did for people to do for the TikTok, to do for the social media-ness of it. Because I am I'm a cinema horror guy. I had no interest to go seeing this movie. Now, will I watch it for a reaction here? Yes, because I haven't watched past 15 minutes of Terrifier 1. I haven't made it past 5 minutes of Terrifier 2. And so, because I haven't watched it, I'm going to give it the old college try, because I am very interested in this part 3 of what it brought.
So I will say that they try to start to tell stories and start to create mythologies more in the second one. And so I think not watching 1 and 2, you will lose a little bit of something.
Oh, no, we're watching all 3. Yeah. So we'll be doing, when Brooke comes on, her first episodes will be the reactions to Terrifier 1, 2, and 3, which will start at the end of November to match up with the third's release on digital. So we will watch all of them. I'm going to sit down and stomach through this son of a bitch, I swear to God. But thank you for those opinions. Thank you for the substance review. We are Death Curse Club. We are on the Thrill Me Podcast Network, which will be getting a name change. But if you want to check out all our videos, go to Thrill Me Podnet's Facebook. That's where all the episodes are laying out. We all have our own YouTubes and Instagrams, as you can see at the bottom here. But let's get in to why we are here. And it's this new segment on this new show. theater. Trademark pending, name pending, everything pending. So I had an idea about this. And really where the Death Curse Club comes from is like, I just don't want to do what everybody does. Yes, we will have reviews as such Jim gave us, but we are also going to just have fun, conversation. Let's see where we go, because I feel like Jim and I always have conversations like these, so why not put it out to the world and see where she lay. And our first one that we are doing, What If Theater, it's blending of franchises, it's blending of IP, horror, worlds, adventures, comedies, all these things mixing up in a horror element. And the first one that we are going to do is Blade and the Lost Boys. Okay, so it is the poster. I don't know why it didn't show the title when I did it before. But yes, today we are doing Blade, the Lost Boys. Now, we are going to kind of solve the plot problem, if this can work. We are going to have the behind the scenes. We're going to do all the elements to see if this movie's not only worth seeing in theater, but also is this movie worth being made. In the dream world that we live in. And where this came from for me is during the spooky season, I did an entire Blade trilogy watch. And we also did The Lost Boys as a core memory unlock horror on Patreon, me and Wonderful. So I had a lot of vampire on the brisk here. Now, when I watched the original Blade, I thought to myself, man, how cool would it be if Blade, pre-Blade, like before 1998's Blade, he's learning what he's doing, and he interacted with these vampires. Like, do you see this as a possibility of a blending of a franchise to do?
Sure, I mean, it definitely has to be a prequel.
Yes, absolutely.
By the first Blade, he's wiping through vampires like nothing. So this is going to be a very short movie. Otherwise.
Yeah, and not only that, the reason why this also works as a prequel, and I mean even prequel to Blade. So the title could change. In fact, the title could be called The Lost Blade.
I mean, you could go Batman style and just be The Blade.
Oh my God, Blade Begins. We could do that. But here's how I see it. I see what we learned in the original Blade was he was born in the 60s. Also, in the 80s, I mean, Wesley Snipes is around. Like, he's in Major League.
Yeah.
And he looks good and young and healthy. And I'm like, that's where we begin it. He's at that age for this. And the way I see the plot going is I think Whistler finds him as such, as a teen, and he's trying to teach him, look, vampire's bad, and you need to take them down because you are half human. He's trying to take out your human sides, all these vampires. So you need to be able to control this. The way I see this, almost in the same vein as Blood Vein, as Lost Boys, where they're trying to change Jason Patrick, I'm looking at this as they're trying to change Blade, but, and maybe this is where the workout is, do they know Blade is a vampire, or do they sense the human side? Because they never really describe that well in the Blade movies, of like, we know he's a vampire. We just know this guy's in a goddamn trench coat trying to kill us.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely somebody who's just gonna. Well, that's all they wanted. They wanted a cool character for the movie, and that's what he essentially was. Somebody's gonna go out there, look cool, and kill people, and that's all he needed to be.
Right.
And so now, if you're doing a movie now, yeah, you need that younger, or you need a more of a developed character.
Right. Well, I'm agreeing that this is 1980s. This is 1980s. Maybe even Joel Schumacher is still the director of it.
Okay.
I'm still good with that.
Yeah.
I want this movie from the 80s. Okay. I don't want this from the guy from Rebel Ridge is playing him. This is pre...
Keeping sexy sax guy.
Yeah, gotta keep sexy sax guy. And we'll have synth. Fuck, we'll get John Carpenter to make some synth, baby. Okay? That's what this movie's going to be full of. But I do find the plot of being... Is Blade going to succumb to his vampire side? more interesting because I feel like in all the Blade movies, there is this like, oh, if he gets a drop of blood, he's going to turn into that. He's going to be on that side. We've never fleshed out that. I think it's interesting of having like Blade a part of the team, like they find him. And I think also we need to make the team bigger because eventually once we get to the Lost Boys, it's dwindled down to the set group that we got. And like in Lost Boys, by the way, spoilers for fucking Lost Boys, a movie from the 80s if you have not seen it. They are led by this old vampire, this guy from a long ass time ago. I don't think we have him in it. Besides maybe a cameo, besides just a little bit, because I don't want Blade to kill him.
Right.
So we need a bigger team and maybe code to Kiefer Sutherland.
So we're taking out basically all the characters from Lost Boys.
No, why?
Well, because if you're talking about still keeping Lost Boys and Blade within the same continuity of this movie,
right?
Then, well, obviously you don't have Corey Haim, you don't have Jason Patrick.
Yes, all those guys are gone. Just
you
the Lost
probably
Boys.
aren't going to have the same vampires like you just
Why?
said.
Why wouldn't you?
Because Blade's going to end up killing them.
No, but that's why. But that's why I'm saying let's go half the crew. Because what I think Blade needs to escape, not necessarily kill them all.
Okay. And then you got the Frog Brothers, who I feel like by Lost Boys, even though they believe in all of it, I don't get the feeling that they've necessarily been in contact with it.
Okay. Oh yeah. They're just going off the rumors
The
and the
books
missing
and,
people,
yeah,
and stuff like that. So here's the beginning of the movie, and we'll go from here. Blade's a teen. He's on the run. Whistler and him are traveling. Whistler gets wind of all the missing people happening in Santa Carla. And this could literally be 6 months before the Lost Boys movie. Mm-hmm. Like, it doesn't have to be years before the 70s. I like the 80s. I say we stick in the 80s. So Whistler and Blade end up in Santa Carla, and the cool thing is since Blade's a daywalker, we could still fuck with the daytime. Mm-hmm. He's still doing his daytime stuff. And he's not good. Good at his job yet. Like, yeah, he has some martial arts. He's like Daniel LaRusso. Knowledge of like he's reading a book doing front kicks.
Okay.
He's not 1990s yet. 1990s is when he learns all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I would like that. Oh, isn't the old guy also a vampire hunter at the end of Lost Boys? The grandpa.
The grandpa knows of them. He said that's the problem.
He's got to know Whistler.
That's the problem with this town. Too many vampires.
He's got to know Whistler.
Yeah, I feel like he's got to be involved in some way. I mean,
yeah. Even if it's just housing them for a night or so.
Yeah. Or you can even pull it down to a neighboring town, so it's still close by, without having to worry about too many connections.
Okay. Yeah. So we've heard of Santa Carla, and then there's some drafty over here. Maybe that's also a good play, is like that head guy is trying to expand a little more. So maybe it's not at Santa Carla, it's just past, before, whatever.
Yeah. Santa Maria.
Santa Cruz. So Blade goes into town because he wants to be not a victim, but you know, playing the victim kind of role. And he goes in and he meets the rock fucking superstars. Dwayne Johnson's too young of this. I did think of this because if Kiefer Sutherland is one, and like I said, I think it needs to be two kind of leaders. So are we keeping the same motif of like that 1980s rocker look? Or are we going more, should it be cool guy, Breakfast Club, Emilio Estevez kind of look? Like, what's Andrew
McCarthy?
Andrew McCarthy.
Yeah, we can do Andrew
like
McCarthy.
That look that Andrew has? Oh, yes, because, like, you gotta expand. You can't always have the rockers.
No.
So, we got Andrew McCarthy as the head vamp.
We can bring in young drugged up Downey Jr.
He's the in-between guy. He's the guy that's like, I float to the Keither and I want to hang because he looks like his weird science look. We give him that. And also, we got, I met him. Who was he at GalaxyCon? Who did I meet?
Would you meet C. Thomas Howell?
No. I met the guy from all the John Hughes movies, the nerd, Weird Science. God damn it! What's his name?
Oh, Anthony Michael Hall.
Anthony Michael Hall. Anthony Michael Hall should be one.
Yeah.
And I feel if we got McCarthy and Hall as the two vampires trying to convince Blade to come into being with them, and then you have cameos of, see, the cast cameos is going to be Kiefer coming in because he's like, hey, have you heard from boss? Boss says we're expanding, brr, 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 brr. And there's a lot of fight back, but also Kiefer is like, ooh, this guy's young. I like him. I want him a part of the team. Here, have some noodles.
You gotta have noodles.
You gotta have noodles in this. We have to have all the bits that people know.
Right.
Because that's how this is going to work.
Do we have a female vampire? Or...
Ooh, is it a female vampire? It's gotta be, right? Because he hasn't, in the movies, besides Blade 2, he has that little connection with the one girl, but I don't feel like he's ever had that, like, girl, and maybe this is why. Maybe this is the one that almost caused him to go all vampire. And maybe the plot as well, because he is a day walker, is, well, I was going to say they make him full vampire, but he is full vampire, I guess. Right? Yeah. Is he full vampire?
Well, he's half.
He's half.
Yeah.
So maybe, even though they don't know how to do it, their goal is to make him full vampire.
Yeah, but you never go full vampire.
You never go full vampire. You ever see Interview with the Vampire? Yeah. Brad Pitt never went full vampire. Kristen Dunst, full vampire.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so what girl from the 80s?
Well, how old are we looking? Are we talking young?
They got it. Well, Wesley Snipes' age. I'm not trying to get busted for anything.
I keep forgetting.
Like, well, let's cast from like 18 to 22. 18 to 22, 1980s.
Oh man, I mean, because you could either go with somebody that we're talking about lately with Demi Moore.
Demi Moore. Yeah, I guess we got to go with the Brat Pack a lot. Yeah. So we got Demi Moore.
Phoebe Cates.
Fuck, Phoebe Cates. Oh, Jennifer Connelly.
Jennifer Connelly.
Oh, can I just put a vote in for Jennifer Connelly? What's that movie when she's riding that horse at a Target that's closed? You know what I'm talking about.
Career Opportunities.
She's just riding that horse inappropriately for far too long. Oh my God. Okay, so Jennifer Connelly. There's got to be someone also like somebody like this is okay. I'm just going to put this movie's way too white.
I knew you were going to go there. And I was thinking in my mind, like,
way too white.
Like, who in the 80s was Ray Don Chum?
No. How old would chick from Zoe Kravitz's mom? How old would she be? How old would Lisa Bonet be?
Old enough, because she did Angel Heart, which was in the was 87, 88. So
okay.
She was in her 20s then, early 20s then.
Cosby Show. Maybe. She was in the Cosby Show, right?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can IMDb that. Lisa Bonet. Let's see. 1967.
So
that's perfect.
20.
Lisa Bonet is our vampire mistress.
And she did horror with Angel Heart.
Oh, I love this. Okay, so Lisa Bonet and all them meet up. Oh, and she would fit right fucking in with Andrew McCarthy.
Yeah.
And Robert Downey Jr.'s coked out ass. So they're hanging out, and the majority of the movie is trying to convince Blade to join them, and Whistler having a hard time. It's a real allegory of the kids trying to be not around their parents anymore. It's a real situation here. Midway through, when he's about to kill his first human being, he backs off. Whistler comes in. He's like, "What are you doing, you son of a bitch, you motherfucker?"
Do we need to cast Whistler here?
Chris Christopherson.
Oh, yeah.
Why wouldn't we just have Chris Christopherson? Perfect age.
Yeah, you're right. Because it's the same age. You're right.
Yeah,
I wasn't even thinking about the time frame.
Yeah. No. This is chef's kiss. So Whistler's like, "You're falling to the bad. This is why I've kept you away." That you're seeing exactly what happens. So what happens to Blade to finally go, "No, I can't join them"? Something has to happen. Does he befriend? Like, is there someone human that he befriended in the area?
I mean, usually this kind of thing, especially if you're looking in the 80s.
1980s.
It'd have to do with
It's
probably...
the only way I know how to make a movie.
It'd have to be with some loner neighborhood kid.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so who's the neighborhood kid? Lance Guest?
Macaulay Culkin.
Oh, we're going kid. Oh, yeah, because if you kill a kid...
Yeah.
That's gonna be hardcore.
Yeah. And it wouldn't have to be something that the vampires specifically went after him. They could have just been something that happened. They were like, "Yeah, we don't care."
Well,
if he dies.
because they're all partying, they're all doing the stuff,
and they're like, "Screw that kid."
And then he dies, and maybe Blade's just like, "I don't like that you guys don't care about people," and maybe that's when Blade realized, "Oh, I do have a human side."
Yeah.
And I can't be with y'all. And then they attack him because of that, because he's like, "Nah, I'm not going to be." And they're like, "Well, we're going to fucking kill you. Kiefer Sutherland, send us some Lost Boys."
That's exactly what he says, too, on the phone.
Send us the Lost Boys. And so Kiefer does send 3 or maybe 5. We'll send 5 rocker generic guys that were a part of the crew.
It says, "Lost Boys, mount up." That's when Emilio Estevez rolls in.
Oh, man, cameo. Just comes in and he's like, "That would be so fucking bitchin'." Just
3 bikers, Emilio Estevez, Charlie Sheen, and Luann Phillips.
Oh, my God! I would love it if just Whistler and Blade are in the house. Now, does Lisa Bonet, does she betray Andrew McCarthy?
Everybody betrays Andrew McCarthy at the end of the day.
She wants to be with Blade. Yeah, because it's almost the same give of Point Break, where you can't tell if the one chick's with Patrick Swayze, but she's boning him. Same dynamic.
Which I literally just watched 2 nights ago.
Same dynamic. He's like, how's my dick taste kind of feel?
Yeah.
And Andrew McCarthy would 100% say that line in the movie. How's my dick taste? And this is where the whole ice skating uphill. We got to figure out how we get that into play. Woo! Oh my God, I'm sweating. This is great. This is the best movie I've ever seen. So Whistler, Bonet, and Blade are in a house. Blade tells Whistler, he's like, "Look, I'm sorry, I've been a dick. Let's kill some vamps. What about her? Do we..." This is the thing. Well, they don't know about serum yet. So there can't be a serum for her. Right?
Right.
So, okay. So with her being on the side, should we ex-nay that?
Yeah.
No, she's just a vampire gone good?
Yeah, why not?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I'm fine, because she's going to die.
I mean,
she dies.
Yeah, we got.
This is the one time that he's into a chick. Or is she even a vampire? Is she a familiar? She's a fucking familiar.
Yeah.
She's a familiar. She's not even a vampire.
Yeah. She's ready.
She's ready to turn, and they want Blade to be the one to turn her.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love this idea. All right, so they're all 3 in the house. We got to get out of here because they're going to come for us, and it's way too many. Boom! Fucking fade in. There's motorcycles drifting up. Fucking Emilio Estevez comes out and fucking says some kind of one-liner. Fucking They look just like how they look in Men at Work. They're just garbage men on bikes.
Yep, just like that.
Shit. I love this. So they fight at the house. This is when Lisa Bonet gets fucking killed. Whistler knocked out of charge. And fucking he stops 2 of the fucking vampires because we need 2 to go back to home base where Andrew McCarthy is. Mm-hmm. And then Blade's like, oh, I'm coming after him. Ooh. And Lisa Bonet wears cool fucking sunglasses throughout the whole movie, almost. And those are the sunglasses. So we can get that, the fucking Blade song that pops on. So then, by the way, where's home base? So the Lost Boys' home base was in a fucking cave.
Right.
Andrew McCarthy's is a mansion, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
He's the yuppie.
Okay. So Blade shows up, busts in, killing all types of vamps. Rock vamps, nerd vamps, because holy shit! The plan was the whole time is to infest all these high schools.
Okay.
That's why they all look like high schoolers that are fucking Breakfast Clubby.
Right.
Oh my god! I love this fucking movie! Alright, so Blade's fighting all of them, and he kills half of the Lost Boys from Santa Carla, comes down to him and Andrew McCarthy. Obviously, they're not going to have a hand-to-hand because Andrew McCarthy's not skilled, but
he can hire another vampire.
Ooh, so another one shows up. Big bad boy shows up.
That's when you bring in Hulk
Hogan.
Hogan.
You're very true. Wait a second. So what?
Or Mr.
This
T.
Okay, so this movie's 1985-6.
Or bring in Mr. T.
Mr. T would be good. Or Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
Nah, too old. I'm trying to keep it in the same age range, but Hulk Hogan would make sense. Would he do a vampire? Would he?
He would do whatever he got paid to do.
His name's Thunder Fangs.
He gets paid. He's showing up.
Oh shit! So Thunder Fangs comes up.
He'd be sitting here right now if you paid him.
Has a all-out brawl with Blade. Blade barely wins. And then Andrew McCarthy's just like, here, money. I'm trying, don't. Look, blah, 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 blah. I gotta make it to Aspen for my... Then he goes to Aspen. He runs away. And fucking the final scene of the movie is it fades to black because Blade thinks he gets away. Fades back in. And it says Aspen.
So where is it?
And fucking Andrew McCarthy's all fucking dressed in, has skates and shit like that, and he's gotta go up a hill. And Blade just shows out of nowhere. Oh my god, and he has the fucking trench coat. This is where he has the trench.
So where are they fighting at?
Aspen.
Okay. They're up in the mountains.
In the mountains.
Okay.
And Andrew McCarthy's got the skates, and he has to get up the hill because that's where the ice rink is.
Okay.
And fucking there's Blade finally in the trench coat, and he fucking ends it. Some motherfucker's always trying to ice skate uphill. Wham! Cuts the fucking head off. Credits.
And there's humans running around trying to survive.
Oh my god! I fucking love it!
There may or may not be an avalanche that's caused by this fight. Why?
Why?
I will tell you why later.
Whew, okay. All right.
But there's a reason.
There's a reason.
Yeah.
So we have our recap.
Right.
This movie begins with Blade and Whistler traveling to a town just outside of Santa Cruz. They end up there, and Blade's going around trying to find vampires. He does not find a vampire. He finds Macaulay Culkin.
Okay.
Macaulay Culkin's just chilling. He's like, kid, you shouldn't be out here. It's dangerous. And Macaulay Culkin's like, yeah, it's dangerous. You should see my mom's fucking underwear drawer. Because, you know, Macaulay Culkin always says something back, Uncle Buck style.
Yeah.
So He's walking him home, and he hears wrestling in the forest or whatever, and then a fucking vamp pops out, throws Macaulay to the ground, trying to fight him. Boom! Kills a vampire in front of him. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe vampires do exist. I thought it was a rumor. He was like, what are you talking about? He's like, get inside, little child. He talks just like Mr. T. Fucking goes back home, tells Whistler, yep, this is the place. We need to be on the fucking prowl. Goes out again. That's where Andrew McCarthy and fucking Robert Downey Jr. Fucking all these cool kids, and they notice Blade. They're like, who are you? What are you doing here? And then they hang out for a little bit, and he likes them. He thinks this is a good time, and he's like, hey, meet us tomorrow night at whatever cool drive-in. No, drive-in already got done at Salem's Lot this year. I can't do drive-in. What's up? Meet us at the fucking pop shop. Yeah, I said pop shop. Eat me. The mall. Meet us at the mall.
Yeah, everybody loves the mall.
It's the mall.
Yeah.
So meet us at the mall tomorrow.
Next to the Orange Julius.
Oh God, yeah. So Blade ends up at the ball. Fucking, they're all hanging out. He's having a good time. This is where Lisa Bonet was only seen before, but now Bonet's here. And he's like, you smell good and stuff like that, because he can't sense the vampire. She's not a vampire. But he can't get a good read on the other guys. But that's when they show their true colors. We are, but we're not bad guys. We're just kids.
Right.
You're a kid, we're a kid. We need to hang out. We need to chill. So they hang out. He's having a good time. Eventually, Andrew McCarthy calls the guy who runs, the dad from fucking Gilmore Girls. Yeah, who's the vampire? He's the big bad vampire in Lost Boys.
I've never watched Gilmore Girls. That's why you lost me. I was like, what? Who?
You were a Lost Boy. So he calls and he's like, hey, I have something weird. I have a guy here who is a vampire that walks around in the day. And that's what was the weird thing is like when they saw him earlier, they sensed vampire, but then he walked out into the sun to leave. Mm-hmm. And they're still inside. So they didn't walk out. They were like, that's why we're going to see you later. So then he's hanging out with them all the time. And then Lisa Bonet says, I want to be a vampire. Blade, will you turn me? And he's like, yeah, I'll end up turning you. Don't you worry, girl. And this will be like one of the first humans he's ever tasted blood of. And he's like tasting the blood. But eventually Macaulay Culkin is coming there and he's like, hey, what's going on? And Andrew McCarthy's like, scram, kid. Like that. And like Blade's throwing it back. So he runs and he's like, Macaulay. And he runs. Does he get eaten by bees? No, not this movie. Not this movie. Different movie. So Macaulay falls down the fucking hill. Okay. Dies off a hill. Kid falls off a hill. And Blade's like, I can't believe it. And Andrew McCarthy's just like, happens all the time. Kids go missing. And then Blade's putting together all these missing people are because of you. You're killing people, you sons of bitches. So he's like, I don't want none of this. And Lisa Bonet's like, but you were going to turn me. He's like, I ain't fucking turning you. But if you want to hang out with these schmucks, go for it. But if you want to live, you need to come with me. And she's like, I'm fucking coming with you. And fucking Andrew McCarthy's like, have my dick touched. And fucking Blade gets back.
That's a new t-shirt, guys.
Andrew McCarthy gets back. Whistler's like, you've been a shithead. What are we doing? And Blade's like, I'm sorry. I'm in it to win it from now on. Let's get out of here. Boom. Because Andrew McCarthy has called people. Here comes Emilio Estevez, Charlie Sheen, and any other 80s icon to cameo.
I thought keep it Lou Diamond Phillips.
Lou Diamond Phillips. Those three show up. Boom. They're busting. Whistler gets knocked down. Lisa Bonet gets killed. And Blade's mad. Those three get out of there. He's like, I'm going to avenge you. I'm sorry, my love. And he goes to the mansion that the kids chill at. Boom. He kills Lou. Boom. He kills Charlie. Boom. He kills fucking Emilio. Emilio, for some reason, does the Paul Rubens. Die. And then he finds out Thunderfangs is here. And Thunderfangs fights him, kills him, and Andrew McCarthy's gotten away. Robert Downey Jr. still alive. Where is he? He probably went to Aspen. Boom, kills him. And then fade to black, fade back up. Aspen. McCarthy's in his sweet ski gear, and he's about to go up the hill to go ice skate. And then Blade shows up. Which character had the... Lisa Bonet had the trench coat the whole time. That's who wore it the whole time. And then Blade's wearing it. He's like, motherfucker, ice skating uphill. Think! End of movie.
It was very big on her, though.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's the 80s.
Yeah.
A lot of...
Yeah,
she was like my dad's. Right. It was my dad's who died.
Yeah.
100%. 100% I would watch this fucking movie.
Oh, yeah.
100% would watch this. 1980s feel. Fucking co-written by Joel and John Hughes. Like the music's fresh to death.
Yeah. You got to do the 80s soundtrack.
Oh, 80s soundtrack all the way. The kind of like how in Axel F, where the sax guy showed up. Same kind of thing. Whoever's the famous guy to do the song, the sax guy shows up. Mm-hmm. I don't know who it's fucking, oh God, what? Bob Seger. Bob Seger featuring the saxophone guy. I'd see it.
Yep.
I'd see it. What say you? Would you see this movie? Is this movie great to you? What would you add? What are some deleted scenes you would add to this movie? Because I am enthralled for when Andrew McCarthy calls Kiefer, send me the Lost Boys.
Which is also another t-shirt.
Send me the Lost Boys.
And while we're at it, I'm going to go back real quick.
Yeah.
Now in 2024, 2025,
the
new movie that comes out opens with a flashback to the Aspen fight. Then we go to present day, where Blade is having a fight during the day, fighting some random demon thing or whatever.
Right.
Gets caught on camera. So now the news and the world around knows this is happening, knows who exists. Mm-hmm. Then we pull back from the television and we see the Frog Brothers, whose father was killed in the Aspen fight, say, oh shit, that's the guy that was there that was fighting. It's his fault. And they go hunting Blade.
So the part 2 is the Frog Brothers versus Blade?
Yeah, but in present day. Still Corey Feldman.
Okay, we will come back to this. Make sure we write our notes because it's got to be Blade leaving the Doctor Strange portal into his world to find out, like they've been looking for. Okay, stop trying to do another movie. We'll get to that later. But if you like that pitch, if you want to see that movie, make sure you like this video, like, comment, do whatever. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're on everything that you can listen to this if the visual pleasure is not your take. But Jim, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Oh my God. Blade, send me the Lost Boys. Spook you later.
We'll never come back again. It's not again.